Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Just want to give all praises, glory, and honor to unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Bahashem Rakakwadash, the belongeth to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and that do teach well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful act. So I just thought I'd share this with you real quick here before I get some sleep. It says, Michigan passes controversial bill to microchip humans voluntarily to protect their privacy. And this is from Great Game India. And if you notice, this was posted on the 4th of July this year, 2020. And it's funny how they put this article out here on that specific day, because the 4th of July is America's birthday as a nation. And during this time, what are the people doing? People are celebrating. People are popping off fireworks. People are getting their charcoal, their propane, putting burgers on the grill, frankfurters, pork, having a good time, celebrating the birth of a nation, right? So I guess they decided to pass this right under your noses, because you guys are going to be drunk and you're going to be in a stupor. So this is just more information that I'm going to bring out on the chip. And I think you have an idea of what scriptures I'm going to bring out, because I'm going to always bring out those scriptures when it comes to the chip. And I'm going to keep saying it so I can drill it in your head. All right, I'm going to drill it in your head, because through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, starting with the elders and apostles on down, we have been saying this for some time now. The elders and apostles for decades. All right. And myself being in this truth for a decade, going on 10 years, it's true. You know, we've been saying this for some time. You know, they're going to bring out the RFID chip, the microchip, and now we're not looking so crazy anymore. This is becoming a reality, and now you people who scoffed and scorned, what do you have to say? What do you have to say? And the answer is nothing. You have to be quiet. All right. And if the Lord still, or if you're still in good standing with the Lord, repent and see to it that you do the best that you can to get on the good graces of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, so you don't end up as just another statistic. Because 66.6% of our nation, they're going to be done away with, and a majority of the 6.6% are going to take that chip. A large portion of them. All right, so don't become another statistic. That's if you're chosen. So anyway, here's the article. It says the Michigan House of Representatives has passed a controversial bill to microchip humans voluntarily in the state under the guise of protecting their privacy, which that isn't going to protect your privacy. This is RFID technology, a radio frequency. This is so you can share information. This is so you can get things done faster. This is the future. All your records are going to be on the grain, or on that microchip, which is the size of a grain of rice. Excuse me. You mean to tell me that you're going to have privacy in that? The chip is just nothing but a computer inside of it, man. And anything that's a machine, anything that's a computer, it can be hacked. So it's very easy to get through it. I'm just saying. But anyway, that's not the point. But it says the Microchip Protection Act would allow Michigan employers to use microchipping of their workers with their consent. However, research has shown that RFID transponders causes cancer. So it's not good for you. But there's a lot of propaganda out there saying that the chip is good for you because it has all your medical records. It's more convenient for you to get to the hospital, more convenient for you to access certain things in the society, you know, when it comes to food, when it comes to payments, when it comes to medical care, things of that nature. But they're not showing you the negative effects that it has on the human body. All right, there's a lot of propaganda out there, So anyway, it says here the plan to microchip humans is sponsored by Representative Brana Kale under the guise of protecting the privacy of workers. The stated objective of the bill is that it will protect the privacy rights of Michigan workers and promote further growth for job providers as it relates to microchipping, a cutting-edge technology on the rise that increases workplace efficiency. With the way, yeah, and that's really for you to become a super slave. Right now, everybody in this system, you're a slave. It doesn't matter what level you're on, you're still a slave if you're not a part of the 1%. You're a slave. But when this chip comes, you're going to be a super slave because all your information is going to be on that chip. And your employer is going to have access to it. The elites are going to have access to it. And if they want to cut off your money, they can cut off your money. You see this thing about working under the table or getting paid under the table through these jobs that they have that are still out here, which a lot of them are cut now. That's no longer going to be. Everything's going to be done through RFID payment. Money's going to be done away with. So this is going to force you to become a super slave. Right? A super slave. Everything's going to be controlled by the elites, which are the banking families. So if you have in your mind where you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to work under the table, I'm going to get paid cash, especially a lot of you drug dealers, you money changers that are out there, that's going to be out the window. The RFID chip is the new Omni tool. All right, that's the Omni tool. And you know where I get that? I get that from the video game called Mass Effect. I remember playing that as a kid, as a teenager. It's like a tool that they have on their hand, on their wrist, and it carries all their data, all their information, their medical records. And by the way, that game it's a sci-fi game, of course, so it has something to do with the future, where flying cars exist. But that's what's happening right now. So that's what the RFID chip is. It's an Omni tool. And I think Omni means many. As a matter of fact, let me just look up that word again. I forgot. It slips my mind. Omni, meaning all. Okay, yeah. So Omni, which is all, every, the whole of every kind. Yeah. So that's what it means. Omni. Okay. So it means all. So it has everything on it. Everything that you can think of. Every kind of thing that you can think of. Any type of transaction, whether it be for business, whether it be for leisure, it's all going to be done through your chip. Okay, that's the Omni. And by the way, the only thing that's Omni is really the Lord. So they're saying if you take this chip, it's like you can be a god. You'll have powers, in a sense. That's what they're trying to tell you, and they're trying to get you used to having a symbiotic relationship between man and machine. That's where we're at right now. Okay, a symbiosis. Okay, a relationship between man and machine. Two things joining each other, and creating synergy so they can work together, and they both benefit from it. Okay, so that's how you people out here are being conditioned. So, let's go back here. It says, with the way technology has increased over the years and it continues to grow, it's important Michigan job providers balance the interests of the company with their employees' expectations of privacy. Microchipping has been brought up in many conversations as companies across the country are exploring cost-effective ways to increase workplace efficiency. Like I said, you're going to become a super slave. Okay, a super slave. All your little coffee breaks and your little your little lunch breaks, they're going to be monitored. All right, and if it's not like they're not being monitored now. Everything's going to be monitored. Everything's going to be strict. Okay, and this is so they can produce as much money as they can, man. So you're not going to be able to slack like how you're able to slack right now in these bullshit jobs you guys work. All right, all these dead-end jobs that you people work out here. And I don't care if you make a six-figure salary, man. You're still in a dead-end job. You know why? Because you don't work for the Lord. And you're still a part of this system. And you're going to have to take that chip. Pursuing to Revelation, the 13th chapter. Free and bond, rich and poor. You're all going to have to take that chip. And that's how these people, they look at you out here. You're just cattle. Doesn't matter what level you are. You're just cattle. And in the eyes of the elite, you work dead-end jobs. They employ you. Okay? They make up these jobs for you to work. So anyway, it says here, Representative Bronick Kill, the Republican who sponsored the bill, said in a press statement, radio frequency identification tags, commonly referred to as microchips, are beginning to seep into the marketplace as new technological devices to help streamline everyday business practices. And, you know, what brought in the RFID chip? Because before the RFID chip, you had tap and go. You have these smartphones. Pay with your phone. You have online banking. You have direct deposit. All these things paved the way for the chip to come in. And a lot of you people who are unaware, you didn't know that. You didn't think it was a problem. You thought that this is an advancement. You know why you thought that? Because it made your life more convenient. Whereas direct deposit, you no longer had to go to the bank and give your check to the bank so you can get paid. Everything's directly, everything, all your payments are directly forwarded to your bank account, right? And you had a tap and go with these credit cards and these Visa debit cards. Tap and go, so you no longer have to punch in a pin. You just tap and you go. I believe you can tap. I believe tap and go only works if it only works if it doesn't exceed over $100, right? So those things are convenient for you people when you do your shopping, when you're on the go with your kids or whatever. So these are the things that paved the way for the chip. This actually perfected the chip, right? It perfected it. So it says here, the chips roughly the size of a grain of rice are implanted into the hands of employees and act as a replacement for ID badges. Time cards, usernames, and passwords for security clearance, and even credit cards. So an ID badge. So now let's get the scriptures now, because that's what the RFID chip is. It's just a badge. That's what the mark of the beast is, a badge, right? The Lord spoke of it. So Revelation chapter 13, verse, I'll start at 16 to get to the point for the sake of time. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And it can go in any hand or anywhere in your body. I'm just gonna use a movie for an example. I believe it came out in I believe the early 2000s. I believe early 2000s. I believe it was 2001 or 2002. I can't remember, but it's called The Bourne Identity with Matt Damon. He played an agent. I believe he lost his memory, and he ended up going against the government. But when he found out that he was a part of the government, he had to get rid of all the tracking. He had to figure out how they were tracking him, so he had to take out all the RFID chips in his body. He had one in his neck, he had one in his back, he had one in his arm. And the RFID chip looks exactly like what you see here. Okay, when you watch the movie. And oh yeah, and I just want to bring this out. Even that new show on Netflix, Snowpiercer, with the Wilford train, which is a post-apocalyptic show. It goes into the people on the train that escaped the nuclear winter. I believe it was a nuclear winter, or what happened was the scientists on Earth they bombed the sky to cool down the earth, and then after it caused temperatures to drop real low, so the earth was inhabitable. So they decided to go on a train to live, so they circled the world. But anyways, how they go from cargo bay to cargo bay, they have to use a chip to get into the rooms. So they're even conditioning you people in these shows, right? But they're talking about it. The chip is here. It's a reality. This is a part of the future. This is right now. This is gonna be the way on how you do business. Okay, so that's what it says here. Now let's go back. It says the right hand or in their foreheads to receive let me read it again. And it says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So now when you check out the word mark here, it says charagma in the Greek, and it says a stamp, an imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. The mark branded upon horses. That's why I said you're going to be super slaves, because that's all a horse is. A horse is just a commodity. It's just something that you own. And horses, they can make you money. That's why a lot of rich people, they have race horses. And they go to the racetrack and they bet. And they make money off those horses. And a horse can cost 200 grand and up. Okay? So, like I said, that's how these elites, they look at you. You're just cattle. You're a commodity. And some of you, you're more expensive than other, because you have cattle. You have different types of cattle that are expensive. Like you NBA players, you would be high level slaves, okay? Because you have a skill that they can use. You have a type of skill that makes the elites money. You can jump out the gym and you can entertain people. You celebrities. You scientists. You Nobel Peace Prize winners. Right? You guys are just high-level slaves. And then you have the low-level slaves, where the workers, the average Joe Blow six-pack. Okay? So you people are just cattle. But main point is, it says, of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. Going back to this point here, it says, the chips roughly the size of a grain of rice are implanted into the hands of employees and act as a replacement for ID badges, time cards, usernames, and passwords for security clearance and even credit cards. So that should tell you that this is not something that you should take. Do not take this chip. If you're new to this, do not take this chip. If you believe in Yahweh Bashem Yeshai, don't take it. Take it. Because you're going to become an antichrist. Which antichrist just means anti-Yahushai. You're going against him. And we know what the scripture says. If you go against the Lord, he'll slay you. The Lord said he's going to slay all his enemies. Matter of fact, let me get that. Bring him before me. Slay my enemies, man. I think it's in Luke 27 and 19. Yeah, let me just remember it. Luke, 19 and 27. Here we go. Luke 19 and 27. But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them. And that means, if you don't want Yahushai to reign, that means you're anti-Yahushai. You don't want the Lord to rule this earth in peace and in order. You're anti-Yahushai. Bring hither and slay them before me. And that's what he's going to do, man. And he's going to wash his feet in the blood of the wicked too. So if you take this chip, you're anti-Yahushai. And that's going to open you up to death. You're going to cut your head off. You're going to do a lot of mean things to you. And he did a lot of thinking, man, while he was away, while he was preparing the kingdom of heaven for us, man. So he has a lot of torture methods and devices that he could use against you. The Lord's not coming back nice, man. The Lord is not coming back nice. So it says here, despite this type of technology not quite making its way into our state yet, I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes a standard business practice statewide. Within the next few years, Kale said, we should absolutely take every step possible to get ahead of these devices. And you know what? We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We knew that this is of the future, man. Let me get that. Of course it's gonna become standard practice. But a lot of you people out here who are scoffing and scoring, you were ignorant because you're like, oh, that'll never happen. But now it is. What do you have to say? What do you have to say? What could you tell us? What could you tell Yahushai? What could you tell us? You can't tell us a damn thing, because the Lord has the last laugh, and the Lord is not mocked. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And what's a device of Satan? The RFID chip. That's a device. It's a gizmo. It's a device that is used to collect souls. Yeah, so that's a device so the elites can brand you as their property. That's all that is. It's a device to get souls, man. All right? And they're working with the spiritual demon Satan, these elites. That's how they get the information. That's why a lot of them, that's why they're called illuminaries. They're not illuminated on the right side. They're illuminated on the left. You can read scriptures like Psalms, the 64th chapter goes into that. You can go into Isaiah, the 14th chapter. How art thou fallen from heaven, Lucifer? Lucifer just means a light bearer. A light bearer is someone that's illuminated. They can see with the light. Okay? So they're working with the spiritual demon Satan. They are. And that's why they can conjure up these devices. But at the end of the day, I don't give the elites and the spiritual demon Satan credit, because the Lord is in control of this. Let's get it. Let's get one scripture. Just get Daniel 4:17. I love this scripture. I love all the scriptures though. Daniel 4:17. But it says here, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. Okay, and he has set up nobodies to rule this kingdom. And those nobodies, they work with the spiritual demon Satan. And the Lord is in control, man. The Lord runs this show. He runs this shit. What's that movie, Training Day? When Lonzo, it was near the end. He goes out in the hood. He goes, I'm the man up in this piece. King Kong ain't got shit on me. I'll have you niggas playing basketball in Pelican Bay. That's right. So the Lord is the man up in this piece, man. He runs the show. He runs the show because his word stands. Now, this is for you scoffers and you non-believers, man. The Lord is not mocked, because you thought you mocked us, man. You thought you stepped on the Lord's toes. But what you forgot is you better be careful on the toes that you step on, because those same toes is going to have a foot up in your ass. Okay, and right now, that foot, those toes are about to go up your ass. Okay, you thought the Lord was mocked. The Lord is not mocked. Is not mocked. I know where it is. Galatians. Here we go. Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Be not deceived. A lot of you were deceived because you believed in the white man. You believed in pseudoscience. You believed in your education, your bachelor's degree, your master's degree. You believed in masonry. You believed in all that bullshit. You were deceived. Okay? Be not deceived. The Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap everlasting life. And that's right, man. So you thought that you can laugh and mock at the Lord, but that's not the case, because the Lord, he gets the last laugh, and you're about to reap what you sow. So you sowed all that fall, all that coming up, scoffing and scorn. So that's what you're gonna reap. You're gonna reap death and dishonor, and you're gonna be humiliated. Right. So anyway, I thought I'd bring that out. This article is pretty good. You can go read it for yourself. I don't. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description. I'll do my best. I always forget. But anyway, until next time, Kwam Yashala. I just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh Shem Yoshai, Bahashem Rakakodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. Kwam Yashala, Bible Ball. Shalom.